Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Welcome to the Tech Factor, your go-to show for all things tech. I'm Akil Khalil and we're live from Salaam Radio until 8 p.m. Joining me in the studio tonight are my tech-savvy co-hosts Faisal, Joel, and our special guest who's wearing that awesome top is Shamshad. Faisal, known for his deep dives into the latest gadgets. Faisal is always on the cutting edge of technology. Joel, our coding guru. Joel can turn any tech challenge into a piece of cake with his programming prowess. And Shamshad is our go-to guy for everything from AI developments to space tech, making complex topics easy to understand, especially with that top he's wearing tonight. That is something I'm pretty sure he's going to be wearing from NASA in a couple of weeks' time. Assalamu alaikum, good evening. How are you, gentlemen?
Islam, good, thanks.
Hello, good, thank you.
Islam.
I think it's been a month since we were last on air. Is that what we've just said?
Yeah,
4
weeks. Seems
it feels
a long
like
time.
it seems longer, doesn't it?
But it's flown.
It has absolutely flown by. But thank you for your company, gentlemen, and yours at home as well. You can get involved in the show by calling us on 01733 602 133, or you can text the show on 07411 191 062. Now, this evening, this episode, we'll be delving into delayed dining dilemmas. Have you experienced the frustration of waiting for your food at a restaurant only to discover it's overwhelmed with JustEat and Deliveroo orders? And tonight, we'll unveil this dilemma and discuss the implications for both customers and restaurants. And later on in the show, as usual, we'll be talking about the new and funky and awesome funny stories and tech stories of the week, or probably the last couple of weeks, because we've been away for such a long time. It feels like so long. I feel like my cables, my Cat 5, Cat 6 and Cat 7s have all been changed. But glad to have your company this evening. So, gentlemen, I can relate to this topic. So many times I go out to a restaurant now, and what I'll see is 4, 5, 6 Uber, Deliveroo, JustEat, and everybody else who's doing it, Food Hub or whoever it is, they're all doing it. There's a queue of these drivers standing in these restaurants, and they are waiting for their food. And you do see that the staff in these restaurants, or shall I say the restaurant owners aren't staffing their restaurants accordingly, because everyone seems to get affected by it. Joel?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And just to talk about the staff for a minute, the algorithms that the providers, we've mentioned a couple, Deliveroo, Uber Eats and things like that, but the algorithms and the technology that those guys have put in place, it does sort of exacerbate sort of the power struggle between the demands of the applications, the demands of the managers towards the staff, and the demands of the walk-in customers towards the staff. And it seems that the guys on the front line are the cooks, the people serving the food, and those kind of guys. They're taking the massive pressure from it, And I used to work in somewhere like that before all of this tech came out, and it was stressful enough, So I can't imagine the stress that those guys now feel. So
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that pressure from management looking at the constant beep of that online order coming in, and there's another ticket, it's ticket after ticket after ticket while you've got a full house. Have you experienced this, Faisal?
Believe it or not, I think I'm oblivious to it.
Wait. Is this because you flash your VIP card?
Oh, yeah. No, not really. I mean, I do see it, but
none of us believe you.
You what?
None of us believe you. Carry on.
No, I mean, I do. You do see a lot of regular takeaways, but I mean, I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and I did notice that there's a lot of people, but I managed to get served before them. So I was actually quite surprised, because I thought they're going to fulfill those orders first, based on feedback or whatever. There must be some sort of tracking system like Joel's mentioning, and then they're trying to fulfill these orders as quickly as possible. But I was surprised that mine got dealt with before some of those.
That's interesting, actually, because if you look at some of these apps, you'll see that there is a function. Let's just take Deliveroo as an example. If the order came late or it was missing something, they refund you a portion of your order. So there has to be, coupled with the fact that someone's using that system, an agreement of the service time between order and food being dispatched and person receiving the food. If not, because then Deliveroo will refund that order. Does that make sense? So there's a penalty somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah, there was something I remember reading, a little while ago, where some providers, takeaways or restaurants, they were actually unsigning themselves from these systems and basically providing a direct ordering system to customers. I'm not going to mention names of companies, but certain companies, what they were doing is obviously customer comes first. So if the order's incorrect or something's missing or whatever, the entire order was being refunded. Do you see what I mean? And those small businesses, they're losing out. So some of those guys, I think they were saying, right, we're no longer going to sign up to these services.
So they're cutting the middleman out, are they? And they're providing that service, but with their own delivery drivers using applications.
Exactly, yeah, with their own website.
And what's interesting about that as well is you then see that they have built up that level of custom, haven't they, by having people use the apps, and what they'll do is they'll just chuck in a new menu saying, use our app.
Yeah, and the app isn't necessarily designed by that restaurant. There's other providers. So what they do is rather than having that middleman, where one of those other companies, they're actually managing everything and refunding orders. That's actually dealt with directly with the restaurant and the takeaway.
That's interesting.
And all the providers doing is they're just providing a fee for the transactions or a monthly charge or whatever for the service.
What's your experience in this, Shamshad?
I'd say similar to Faisal. Never noticed it because I'm one of the delivery customers.
That makes sense.
But all right,
That's actually quite funny.
So what is the actual issue with it? So that they don't deal with it in the right order, or what's your issue with it?
It's the pressure that you see that you have. Essentially, the conversation tonight is about, look, it's another tool that's coming within the restaurant.
Yeah.
And you'll see that the restaurant will have the same amount of staff. So let's just say they've always had 10 people. But now they are now dealing with another 150 orders every night. So when you're in
Are they though?
Yes. So if you go to some of these really popular restaurants, certainly in Peterborough as well, you'll see that now. I mean, there's a couple that I've seen of dedicated staff to these apps because they know they need these people just manning the orders coming through.
So what you're saying is if that app wasn't there, these people wouldn't be buying food from that restaurant?
No. What I'm saying is the app wasn't there. The process of delays in people receiving their food either by delivery or in restaurant wouldn't be as much as they are now. It's across the board. If you go, you'll see, for example,
I've worked in the takeaway restaurant.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but the principle is still the same. Yeah. The issue is everybody wants to eat at the same time.
Correct.
So, like even in the evening time, everybody's meal is around 7 o'clock, really 6, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Everybody wants it at that point. That's the problem. So the more customers a business is going to have, regardless of what technology you're going to use, everybody's going to want it at that same time. It's like in Ramzan. When you're fasting and you go to the takeaways and everybody wants it at that time.
I definitely don't go during Ramadan.
Yeah, so we don't even do it.
And I don't know if you've ever gone to pick up some food, mate. Oh God,
it's a nightmare.
It's chaos.
Yes, but the same thing is reflected in the apps. You'll see that the delivery time went from half an hour to 90 minutes. Yeah. Or in some cases, I noticed as well on Just Eat, was they actually stopped taking the orders, Joel. Because Shamshad was just talking about, which is good. You could see all of a sudden at 6 o'clock, grey, 6, 7 o'clock, grey, 8 o'clock, grey, because demand for that app had become so high and intense, they couldn't cope. And that couples with people walking in as well and wanting their food and collecting the food, what they made calls from over the phone. So I guess what we're saying is, has technology, in its current form, is technology actually helping these restaurants, or is it just somewhere where they're just getting orders? We haven't quite got to that point yet where the queuing system is allowing. What I'm saying is, let's just say we've got 100 orders. Does the restaurant or takeaway have the ability to then feed back to that CRM or wherever it is that's used to say, oh, by the way, I'm dealing with 800 orders. The next ones that are coming in, you need to auto sending a reply saying it's going to take 50 minutes now, it's going to take 60 minutes now.
Yeah, really, I mean, the system should optimize that, shouldn't it, really? I mean, there's other software where you've got, for example, providers, this is a completely different sector, let's say Airbnb. Those prices are optimized according to demand. So what should really happen in these systems is that once there's a big demand and the system realizes that orders are not getting fulfilled in time, or they're taking slightly longer, it should just start reducing the number of orders per hour. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So, and over time, it should learn that on a Thursday or a Saturday night, there's going to be a maximum of 50 orders that will go through within these 2 hours based on the number of staff they have. So let's say if the restaurant's got 10 staff and then the following week they employ 2 more, those 2 extra staff should be able to allow for that increased supply. Do you see what I mean?
Absolutely, I do. And I think what you've just described there is definitely an option for AI, isn't it? You would
Oh, yeah,
all
yeah,
you're saying to
yeah,
AI is,
100%, that's what I
I've got
was
6
thinking,
people
yeah.
on shift tonight,
Yeah.
and it says, yeah, okay, cool. Here's your menu.
Yeah.
Here's what's available.
And it's
This is
making
what's in
real-time
inventory.
decisions,
It's
yeah.
making the real-time decisions for you.
Yeah.
Have we just come up with a business plan live on air?
definitely. And even what they could do is the level of competency of the staff. So if you've got a brand new trainee who's only been in there for 1 day, the system should know that person can only contribute so much to it. Whereas if you've got 10 fully trained staff who are experienced and they're all plugged into the system, so you know that Akil, the expert chef, is on shift today.
Thanks.
And so is Shamshad, so is Joshua, so am I. So we should be able to fulfill so many orders. Whereas if somebody else is on shift and 2 of us are absent, then the system should be able to decide. But I don't think these systems are sophisticated.
I think we've just given our business plan out on air. And we've had a comment just now coming in from Shadow of Enki on Twitch, who says, that's a good point about app orders affecting in-house customers' meals arrival on time. He also says, I hope you guys have an amazing day. You're all awesome. Big stars. All there. Thank you very much, Shadow of Enki. Thank you for listening to our show.
Again, going to that point by Shadow Enki, if then people didn't order over or through the app, they'd be coming in at the same time as well. So they'd be standing there waiting for the food as well.
Yes, but at some point, what the difference here is that when you go to a restaurant where you've got people on inside, you think, oh, that looks full, I'm not going in.
Yeah.
You cannot do that with an app.
Yeah.
This is the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So since the applications came along, and they have opened the doors up to create a restaurant that is a delivery restaurant where it's traditionally not been.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, McDonald's, Wagamama's, lots and lots of other places which
Yes.
I can't think of off the top of my head. So you'd ordinarily you turn up and you walk around Peterborough City Centre and you're like, oh, that's not very busy. Let's go sit in there.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you have a nice, meal with whoever you're with, and it's nice and quiet. Or you look at somewhere else and go, oh, they're really busy. We'll skip that one because it might take a little bit longer. But nowadays, you just don't know. It's a bit of a gamble. It's just
Yeah,
like,
it is,
it's
yeah.
just,
It could be empty inside.
You get there and everyone's stressed and manic, even though the place is nearly empty because they've got so many orders coming in, from online that you don't sort of see. And then when you're sitting there, and you're having your meal and stuff, you've just got constant ding, 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 people walking in and out, in and out, in and out, picking up boxes, picking up bags and taking them in and out, and the delivery drivers zipping around the town centre on their bikes, on their mopeds and all that kind of thing and stuff. And it just creates a completely different feeling to what dining out used to be.
Agree.
And I think that while traditional delivery places, pizza places, kebab places, things like that, people that are already Chinese, sort of Indian food takeaway places, while they have always traditionally been delivery restaurants, they don't offer the same kind of sitting down experience maybe that other places do. And I think it's the other places that you sort of really notice the difference when you've got a constant stream of drivers coming in and out, and sort of maybe a longer service than it used to be, kind of thing. So.
Just to pick up on that, actually, there's a great point there, Joel. There's a restaurant that's recently opened in Peterborough. I say recently, I think it's been about 6 to 8 months actually. And when it first opened, actually it's been a year. I've just remembered because it opened last Ramadan. When it first opened, the first 4 weeks, you couldn't, for no money, you couldn't walk into that restaurant. It was so busy. Now when you go into, it's quiet, but they have got a constant stream of drivers going in and out, in and out. And I was like, they're still making money. They may not have people sitting inside, but they're definitely still making money because it's a constant in and out with these Deliveroo and so on, all these drivers going in and out of the place. And it's an interesting thing. I've seen it right across the country. It's not just here locally, across the country, London, all these other places, exactly the same thing. You have this pressure that you see coming on. I guess what we're really saying now is...
There's still a positive to it as well, though, with these apps. Because, like I said, when I was in the thing, what you'd do back in the day was you'd throw out loads of menus out around the city, yeah? And then what would happen is that same evening and the following few weeks or months, whatever, your phone would be bombarded by phone calls. So you'd have to have one specific person covering the phones.
Yes, that's right.
But with this app, that takes the whole thing out of the way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the other thing as well, it makes it more uniform, doesn't it? What I mean by that as well, and Sham will definitely echo what I'm about to say, is that the traditional way of doing it was you'd have one person on the phone and that person would have the most impressive, better than a doctor, better than a GP's writing. He'd have 2 or 3 words and that would mean chicken tikka masala.
CTM.
Yeah.
CTM with chicken tikka masala.
Chicken tikka masala, right? And you look at it thinking, what does that mean? And it'd be written like a doctor.
Yeah.
But by having this uniform policy where you have the full ticket, what does that person want, so on, it makes it easier. So that's a consequence of these apps is the auditing process for these restaurants has become a lot better.
But they still get it wrong though, don't they?
Not for you, obviously.
You can never take the human error out of things.
And I think
You can never do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should definitely focus on, some of the positives to come from this. It's spawned an entire economy,
Yeah.
Without doubt.
gig
Yeah.
economy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's something that you can get into regardless of your background, regardless of your intelligence and things like that. It's created jobs for people in every city across the UK.
Without doubt. In fact, there's loads of people with YouTube channels just dedicated of them picking up and delivering food.
And it's not, you don't even need a vehicle.
No.
You've seen people on bicycles.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just going
awesome.
to say you've got to listen to this one. It just popped up into my head. Last year, I remember ordering something. I'm not going to name the place. I'm not going to name the company I ordered it through.
What was the food though?
It was basically chicken, grilled chicken type, peri-peri chicken and chips and that type of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Shall we start guessing now, Phil?
So he's got. I've heard he's got a black card for a place that starts with an N.
No.
All right.
Anyway, on the thing it tells you in it what kind of a driver it is. Is it a car or whatever? And it was a push bike. I thought, oh my God, not a push bike. How long is he going to take? So anyway, he's zipping it down, and you can see it on the map. So you're watching him. How long is he going to take? And I could see him doing a wrong turn onto a road which is completely in the wrong direction. I'm thinking he's going the wrong bloody way. So I can see that where he's gone wrong, and I'm thinking, how can I tell these people that the driver, the bike guy has gone wrong? And then it takes forever the food coming to you, and then whereas the other way you just kind of sit and wait, wouldn't you? Whereas this way you're anxiously monitoring, how far is my food?
Depending on how hungry you are.
I like that. So depending on how hungry you are, too much information can make things difficult for you, right?
But you've
Is that
also
what
got
you're
to take into account that driver might have had another someone else's food as well that he was dropping off in that way.
It's
there.
possible.
Could be
Yeah,
that.
it
That could be
could have
one as
been.
well.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily. But I've had people come out to me in a bike as well, and they are rapid.
Yeah.
For a lot more quicker than you think they were.
No, they
on a
are. I mean,
bicycle.
I actually earlier on, one of my sons, he ordered something, and it was there within 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was surprised.
Yeah.
This was during rush hour, and it was a bike. And then I thought, actually, that's pretty cool. You must have
It's
zipped
probably
through
it
all
might
the
be
traffic.
better in rush hour then, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
They can zip
exactly.
through the gaps
Yeah.
and everything.
Some,
Yeah.
some are using e-bikes as well.
That's-
aren't they?
yeah.
They are,
Yeah,
absolutely.
a lot of
So,
them
so,
are, yeah.
so just to analyze this from our perspective, what we're saying tonight, then there is an impact on customers' satisfaction because you have long times which can lead to negative reviews and decreased customer loyalty. So you'll see that when you'll see it on Facebook and Google reviews and so on, that you'll see that no one's actually complaining about the food. They're complaining about the delivery. I've seen that quite often. Oh, my food was late, so here's your 1 star. And in my head I'm thinking, oh, okay, but the food came from an app. So they don't put it on that. I guess it's linked. Then we're talking about challenges for restaurants, which is balancing in-house and online orders without compromising service and quality. And then the possible solutions, which is born in this studio, and someone needs to, we need to get our heads around this, is implementing a better order management system dedicated to staff and for online orders, especially around the data. We're thinking AI could play a massive role here by allowing both sets of data, the incoming data, what's on premise and what's going to be going out to work together seamlessly to have an action plan at the very beginning of a shift. That's what we're saying, aren't we?
Yeah, and even customers could have that feedback. Like what Joel was saying, or I think it was yourself. When you see that the restaurant or takeaway is packed, you think, you know what, I'm not going to go there, I'll go somewhere else. So if you could see that, red, signal to say this place is mega busy.
Or even like like when you're looking at it on these apps and you're looking for food and it lists different businesses, the different restaurants takeaway. You can have it like you do it sort by distance. You can sort it by who's going to be quicker.
I like that.
Who's the quickest?
And also, what you've just said. So when you go through your sort, you can say how busy is it. So it gives you like a traffic light system.
How long it will take to get the food in? Yeah.
Guys, I think we're on to a winner. The problem is we're live on air, and everyone knows. Everyone could be a winner from this.
This is just a feature for delivery, mate.
But I think they're probably all working on this stuff anyway, as it is. But I think it would be good for everyone, really.
Convenience.
But I'm thinking about. Let's elaborate a little bit on what Faisal just said. So, are we saying that every restaurant should have like a digital board in their window, and it says how busy they are? So they could say, for example, how many tables they have, how many are available, and so on. So, or do they do this via an app? So every restaurant has an app. All you do is you go outside. And actually, every restaurant has a QR. Look at me, I'm thinking live on air. So you have a QR code, right, in your window. Someone just scans the QR code. That gives them live data about your restaurant while they're standing outside.
Yeah, it'd have to be some sort of third-party provider, because I don't think restaurants it'd make any business sense for them to do that.
That's right.
Because they'd want to show you that no, we're actually not that busy. We'll
They
fulfill.
want, they want the orders to come in.
Yeah, but the restaurants themselves are managing that data, so they could say that we've always got three tables in reserve, always got it. So it's always going to be. It will never be red. It will always be amber when we're busy. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. Are you talking from an ordering point of view or from a table point of view?
I'm
from
talking
a table point of view, that makes sense, 100%.
I'm talking about from a punter customer perspective.
That's what I
You
mean.
walk into town.
Yeah.
There's a QR code, digital QR code on a
And you can
window.
see if there's any tables free.
No, we just have to scan it with our camera.
Yeah.
And then this page comes up and it tells us how many tables are currently available, when the next one's going to be available.
That's good. Yeah.
That.
I like that.
Across the
Yeah,
country.
I like that. Yeah, definitely. Because that's the worst thing. You go to the city, like you say, when you're in London or somewhere, a big city, and you go into a restaurant and you're thinking, okay, and then you find only to go in there to find, there's no space in there.
True.
So you've just now parked the car. Now you have to go to a car again, find another parking spot, and that's another restaurant just to find out. There's no table.
It's true.
In that case,
Or
it's
whatever.
better to have it on an app rather than going all the way to the restaurant.
You could have two then, couldn't you? So I mean, look, let's take our example. We were in London not so long ago. We went to central London. We had a meal there. And as we approached this restaurant, which does not take bookings, by the way, it's all walk-in,
Yeah.
there was a massive queue. Right?
Yeah,
We were standing there, and
remember,
it was London as well, and we were thinking, this could take some time. There was lots of restaurants across the road that looked like they weren't busy. Anyway, we're standing there, and the fella comes out and he just walks through the queue, seeing who's with who, and he sees us four together. And he went, "Are you guys together? Do you want to sit on another table with other people?" We're like, "No." Took us straight in. I think we were standing there for 2 minutes while there's a massive queue there already and building, right? So again, and they would have been busy. They would have been busy. Orders coming out, and it was packed,
That
wasn't
place
it?
was packed non-stop.
So that's
Absolutely
another thing
packed.
as well. Like you just mentioned, how they manage queues as well. Because obviously, so if there's a whole queue there, and then there's there's only two people, like two couples, they're going to take a small table, and then you got a big group, they're going to want a big table. Yeah, I've had that before, where I've been in a big group and everybody else is a small group. I've just jumped the queue because of that. Because they're just going to give you a big table.
So what we learned tonight is that he's got the power to jump queues. He's got a black card to a chicken place, right? We've come up with a QR stroke management system stroke something else tonight live on air. And Joel, you don't have a favourite restaurant?
I'd actually, your app idea, I'd quite like that for all shops actually. I like just be able to look on an app and see how busy a shop is somewhere.
Yeah.
I've also been in places where it's been completely dead. It's just been me and whoever I'm with, and we didn't get served for over an hour. And I've been sat there thinking, what are these people
That's
doing?
just bad service, mate.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on here? No one's come out, no one's spoken to us, all the rest of it. And I was trying to put it down to it's going to be something like this. But you never know.
Yeah.
Because there's no information.
So you mentioned about you finding out how long this food's going to take, how many tables are free, and this, that, and the other. There should be another one where, or something along them lines, where it also tells you whether you can eat in or not. Because you were with me, I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember where we went. We went to another city, and we went there and to this restaurant, thinking that there's seating there, only to find there's no seating there.
Oh yeah, I just remembered where that was. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
That was really funny. The only seating in there was
Ghost
on
Kitchen
the
or something. I
floor.
can't remember what it was called.
Yeah, I forgot what it's
something
called.
like
It was
that.
in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I've just been told it was Trap Kitchen.
There you go, yeah.
Thank you very much. Because you were there.
Yeah.
You're right. Our BA was there who was refusing to come on air for
It was
some
such
reason.
a flop.
It was.
It was such a fail.
But the food was good.
Yeah.
But there was definitely nowhere to sit. That was quite a hilarious experience. It really was. We'd love to hear from you. What do you think about the dining dilemma caused by delivery apps? Get in touch. You can text us on 07411 191062, or you can call us on 01733 602 133, or get in touch with us on our social media channels. Love to hear from you. Have you experienced this? Do you have an idea? Do you want to share that idea with us on air? Have you just taken our idea and adapted that on air and for your own business plans? We'd love to hear from you. Obviously, this is a developing economy. This is developing technology, and I can't help but feel that AI is going to be part of this very, very soon, but in a positive way from the perspective of business owners and us as app users, Faisal.
Yeah, I think long term, I could imagine, they were talking about Amazon deliveries by drone. I could imagine, food being delivered directly by drone, avoiding all the traffic, come straight to you. within 2 minutes.
like T1000, and he's holding like your meal from a local restaurant. He's standing in front of your house. He's crushed everything just to give you a kebab. I can imagine that. That would be quite cool.
Wasn't there some trials with drones in America?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
In here and in the UK as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also they've done well. They're not just they've gone way past the trial stage, but they do medicine in across large parts of Africa, where they can't. It's so remote they can't get a vehicle there. They'll have these drones that fly in this much needed medicine right across into these continents.
So you can get
not continents. These
you can
these
get an
communities.
emergency delivery of chicken tikka masala.
CTM.
Yeah.
Yes. Or Faisal can get that chicken and chips that he was monitoring, and the guy on the bike took the wrong turn, but somebody in a drone will drop it off faster.
Yeah.
The drone will automatically just come
Short-
to you,
short
and you don't need
wouldn't
no
it?
driver.
Yeah.
It'll just be on
Straight line.
autopilot. Bird's eye.
Only
line
we
of
could do this.
Straight line, yeah.
Only we can go from dining dilemmas, apps, technology to drones and all the food you want. And I'm going up to an advert, Joel, but what would you want flown to you?
Well, we're now speculating on the future of it, aren't we, again, where, we have everything delivered to us
This is true.
by robot, by drone. You do have the small sort of, 6 or 8 wheeled kind of boxes as well.
Oh, they get harassed so much. I've seen videos of them just getting harassed.
Well, we're heading to a
By
break now.
drunks and-
Stay with us. After the break, we'll be sharing some tech tips. Thank you.
Stay tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
At Master's Pharmacy, we put your health and convenience first. We offer free blood pressure checks and blister-packed medication. With our free same-day prescription delivery service, you can have your medication when you need it. We also offer travel vaccinations, including Hajj and Umrah, along with other services to meet all your pharmacy needs. For more information, contact Master's Pharmacy on 01733 567 208 or visit us at 303 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PH.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers, and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
Bite into something wonderfully tasty at Big Mouth, 349 Lincoln Road in Peterborough. Eating in for takeaway or delivery. Big Mouth now have a delicious new menu full of all your favourites. Crispy fried chicken, juicy smashed burgers, finger-licking piri-piri chicken, handmade pizzas, quality doner meat and so much more. So visit the family-friendly Big Mouth restaurant for fantastically fresh food. Call 01733 201020 or visit getbigmouthonline.com.
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate in Peterborough or view and buy online, you'll be amazed at the quality and style you could enjoy in your home. With beds from just £299 and complete 3-2-1 sofa sets from less than £1,000, you'll also be amazed at their wholesale prices too. Plus, there's a 1-year free warranty on sofas and beds, subject to conditions. Find out more, click on Berry, that's BERRE furniture.co.uk or call 01733 300 517.
Satisfy your cravings at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant. Enjoy a tantalising variety of Chinese, Italian, Pakistani and comfort food favourites, from starters to desserts. Kids under 5 dine for free, so bring the whole family to our restaurant at 63 Sycamore Avenue. Open every day from 5pm to 10:30pm. Call us on 01733 313131 or book online to reserve your table. Ibrahimi-restaurant.co.uk. Every bite is a delight at Ibrahimi Buffet Restaurant.
Could you spare a few hours each month to provide support to people who are going through tough times? If so, Peterborough Samaritans are looking for volunteers who are empathetic and open-minded, and we'd love to hear from you. We run regular information sessions where you can find out more about what it means to volunteer for Samaritans. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to know more, please email volunteer@peterboroughsamaritans.org.
Discover peace of mind with Islamic wills from W&P Legal and Mariam Khan. Expertly tailored to respect Islamic principles and UK law, ensuring your legacy is honoured. We offer tax-efficient wills, probate, lasting power of attorney and more. Trust us for a culturally sensitive estate plan. Your legacy, our priority. Call W&P Legal now on 01778 252 301.
You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salaam Radio. Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor. If you've just tuned in, you missed our chat on delayed dining dilemmas, but don't worry, you can catch up on our social media channels. Now, let's dive in some tech tips to make your digital life easier, as well as the cool top tech stories of the week. There's so much to get through tonight. So over to Joel. I know he's got a spicy one to start off with.
You're looking for cool tech stories, yeah?
Oh, yes, please.
Yep, I've got one that's actually surprised me in some ways. So we've always known and we've always talked about the console wars, PlayStation versus Xbox, console versus PC, you know, big up PC Master Race.
Big up consoles, just to be fair.
I agree with you on that.
Master Race. You made me think of someone just now.
Best games are PC
Yeah,
games.
but they still have to wait, don't they? They still have to wait for the best games.
No.
Yeah.
Are we going to now refer to you as Overlord Bat?
So, interestingly, there's been quite a bit of online talk about the fact that the PS5 is massively outselling Xbox.
Yeah, oh, that's been a long time.
Xbox Series X and S combined.
Yeah.
5 to 1.
Wow.
5 to 1. So
Wow.
they're talking sort of like 4.5 million PS5 units between January and March this year, compared to like 900,000 Xbox Series X and S.
It's a massive difference.
That is staggering.
That's the big difference. Yeah.
Wow. So if you're the head of Xbox right now, and you're sat in a sales meeting, and you're looking at your fingers.
Yeah, but there's another way to look at this as well. Remember, you know, PlayStation games. The only way to access PlayStation games is via PlayStation. So you have to buy a PlayStation to play them. Whereas with the, like you said, the Xbox, you've got the Xbox Game Pass. Okay, you don't have to have an Xbox for that. So just because people aren't buying their consoles doesn't mean they haven't got the reach. There's still people taking up the subscriptions. And the Xbox Game Pass, I don't know, I'm not sure about how well it does. I think compared to, I don't know if you've seen the difference between that and the PlayStation's PSN, you know, when you subscribe to it, and what you get for it. I reckon you get way better value for money from the Xbox side.
Yeah, and I can understand that, but are we talking just about the actual physical consoles here?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, that's what.
Okay, I mean,
about,
wow.
Yeah.
I think nowadays though, I'm not sure about PlayStation. I've always been an Xbox sort of user and PC user as well. So we do have the Xbox Ultimate Game Pass.
That's it. Yeah.
2 subscriptions in our house, one for my son and one for me. We've got separate subscriptions to that kind of thing.
What's the advantage of that?
It gives us what was the word?
Independence?
Independence, yeah, between each other's games and playing and things like that. So,
you can have I might be missing something here. So at home, I've got Xbox, I've got Ultimate, but each of my kids have got their own accounts, and they can have their own game, play their own games, save their own game saves, and they can play online.
You can do it that way, but we decided to go two completely separate ones. We got two. He has a laptop and an Xbox, and I have a laptop and an Xbox. And we find it's just easier for us as a family just to have two separate accounts. But I think that pretty much without a subscription to Xbox Live, your Xbox, isn't really that good, because you are still paying upwards of £30, £60, £70 now for new games.
Oh yeah, the games aren't cheap. Yeah,
and sort of we pay around about £12 a month, I think it is, for our Ultimate, and you've just got hundreds of games. So it doesn't matter if I play one for 5 minutes or 500 hours; it's still the same price, and you can just skip between all the new releases. You've got EA included in that as well, and you've got now Ubisoft. You've got I think you've got some like Blizzard games and things like that as well. So I think that I don't know a lot about the sort of the PlayStation and Sony side of things, but I'm just speculating if the sales of Xbox is down because it's kind of seen that you have to have a subscription kind of like on top of it as well, a digital subscription to gamings and things like that.
No, Sony's the same.
That.
Sony's got three. So it used to have one tier. Now it's got 3 tiers, and the premium tier just today or yesterday, they've just enabled PS2 games in it as well. So all the PS2 catalogs just come into it.
That's good.
But both sides have got pros and cons because they've got exclusives in terms of certain types of genres of games. So, for example, you've got Halo, and you got I'm trying to think of the other one now off the top of my head, Uncharted, God of War, this sort of stuff, which is now cross-platform. There's another one that's just got in my mind, Gran Turismo, as an example. You've got certain games that are on certain consoles, but that also being said, both of them require subscription to get the most out of the device, unless you're paying for the games themselves.
So for me, so I've got both, and I've always had both. And the appeal for me was, with Sony was, they had better exclusives, and they had better games that were like, like a campaign, like where it's just a one-player game. So story-led game, like your Uncharted, your God of Wars, all of these kinds of games. Whereas the Xbox was probably better off for your your first-person shooters. That's how I saw it, and the quality of the games, especially the Sony exclusives. I think that's what's pushed people buying it as well. For me, that was why I bought it, was because of them exclusive games. The level and the standard of their games is way up. It's way up high, like on another level compared to Microsoft's.
Wow.
Okay,
Professor, what have you got?
My next story is. Hang on, let me bring it up. Got a bit distracted there. It's.
Were you thinking about that chicken?
Which chicken? I've lost it.
He's already tracking his next meal.
Oh yeah, that's what that's why he went quiet. He's like, this guy on the bike, he's taken another wrong turn, and now he's going to be like thinking, he's making me look away from the screen to find a story.
No, the one that caught my eye was the Apple Watch will finally let you rest. Basically, this is I don't know if you guys have got Apple Watches with the rings and the fitness thing. Every so often it reminds you, you need to stand up, you need to go for a walk, you need to make sure you haven't done your 20 minutes of walking or whatever. But sometimes you don't feel too good. Just imagine during COVID when people weren't feeling so good and their watch is reminding them that you've not done enough. So now the watch is finally going to take into account that you're injured or something's happened, so then it's not bothering you with these type of things. But I think going forwards, as AI is built into these devices and it's more in touch with ourselves, it could possibly measure our temperature that we're not feeling too good. So then it can give you exercises or whatever according to your status at the time.
That's
how you're
awesome.
feeling. Yeah,
that's very cool. Yeah. That is very, very cool. Okay, Sham.
So is that a feature that's coming out?
No, I'm suggesting it to Apple.
Okay.
Wait a second. Okay, hold on. Let me just. Joe, can you just quickly get Tim Cook on the blower? Yeah.
Everyone on speed dial.
Yeah, do it. Share 2 ideas with him. One is our app thing, and now this. Yeah. Thank you. And Sham, what do you have?
So first one I've got is, it's an interesting one. I don't know if you've heard about this or not. It's the French President Macron.
Yeah, personally.
So he. He's come out with a really good. Well, he's backing a good idea, which is to ban use of smartphones before the age of 11.
So Emmanuel Macron has
backing a plan.
Okay, so is this in? So he's just talking about it right now, is he, or is it going to be put in legislation?
I think they're trying to, because it was put together. The report was put together by a commission of some experts, and they found that exposure to screens and having access to these smart devices has an effect on the development of children.
I agree with that.
100%, I do as well.
Because
Yeah.
what it is, you got to remember, when we were growing up, we had access to technology, but it wasn't as addictive. Whereas the way these apps and devices are designed is to keep the user on it due to advertising.
Regardless of what
we
effect
see
it has
as-
on the user.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's about making money, isn't
Yeah.
it? So, I think that's specific with social media.
Yeah.
So, where you got Facebook, X or whatever, they're making their revenue through advertising.
But it's not just social media. It's even like games and things like that. They find ways to keep you engaged as well. To keep you
100%,
especially like mobile phone games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like they employ the same kind of. I think what's the word I'm looking for? Same kind of principle that gambling machines use. So that that noise, the endorphin that you get from like winning something, but every so often, so often as well.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me when I don't know if you guys ever played Farmville.
Yeah.
You know what I'm on about, anyway. You had to plant all those things.
Yeah,
I think it was on- it was
I
on
remember that was
Facebook
one
or
of the
something.
most graphically intensive games ever made.
Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes I was more worried about, the crops are going to rot.
Oh,
or
were you?
something. Yeah,
Oh, were you? So
rather
we worried
than-
about your beetroot, were you?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, right,
I'm
okay.
thinking, right, the beetroot needs watering and all that type of stuff.
This is happening.
No, but the thing is, the game's running constantly, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you think, okay, now it's due. I need to check on.
Can you
this
talk
stuff.
us through this a bit
Yeah.
more? I need a bit more information.
It's basically a social media game, Farmville. I don't know if it's still around, but it's a free game.
I'll
but
be
it was
calling you Farmer Phase.
Farmer Phase, yeah.
I love this.
So this is probably one of the reasons as well. So basically,
is.
that game encourages you to come back onto it every so often,
Yeah.
and you're rewarded for coming back on every 10 minutes or
100%.
an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, and there's similar games I remember.
Oh, there's like
Do you remember-
Clash of Clans. I think that's one of them that
Pl-
comes
I
to
remember
mind.
Did the
Plants-
beetroot in that as well?
I remember my kids playing, and I ended up playing this as well. It was Plants vs Zombies. That game was so addictive.
Yeah.
And again, I can understand why they want to restrict these devices, and it has a huge impact from what I've seen in schools. Where kids shouldn't have access to, for example, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is for 16 plus, and you'll think, okay, what's wrong with WhatsApp? And most parents, including us, sometimes we just give access WhatsApp to kids. But what you got to remember is that sometimes kids are in groups, and then they start bullying each other, and then that bullying carries
There's
on
all kinds,
WhatsApp,
yeah.
and then at home. So I can understand why they want to bring in this restriction for.
Would you be for
kids.
this?
Yes.
What about you, Joel?
Yeah, I think so. I think that I think everyone's addicted to their devices. You just got to walk down the high street, and I'm just as bad as everybody else. I don't want to sit here and be hypocritical and say, oh, you're just such a saint. I never, I'm constantly hooked to it, and it's not, that it's gaming, it's social media. You just get that. You put a post on social media, and then you look to see how many likes you get, and you're just like, oh, someone's liked it. And you get that endorphin hit, and and that they are so addictive, and they can be damaging to adults. So someone under 11 who can't necessarily comprehend or have any kind of self-control, it's hard enough for us. We can't expect them to. We have to be.
I liked what TikTok did, where they put that. It comes after, I think it's an hour or something. If you've been on it for an hour in one day, it comes up with a code.
Yeah,
that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
that's something really good as well, because it's actually telling you, right, you've been watching it too much.
Shameful. I've seen that come up on my phone. Come on my kids' phone. Okay, carry on.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
sure.
it's like on my phone. I've got this time limiter on it. For certain apps, social media apps, only 2 hours a day. So then it says ignore limit. I just click.
Ignore limit. Yeah, that's right. I tried that myself as well. I've been in the same path.
Then you think, what's the point of having it? But the difference, I think, you got to remember is that we're adults. We've gone through our development. Yeah. Whether we went through it well or not. But for the next generation, I think what it is, we've got to make sure that they're having the wide range of development rather than just playing online games, Farmville and Plants vs Zombies.
Brilliant. Joel, what do you have next?
So I have got next. Apologies for a start for anyone that's currently eating their tea, whether that's been delivered or you're eating out or you're eating it at home. But I'm going to talk about some cow dung.
Brilliant.
And a really, really interesting story that's come out of India over the last few weeks. And essentially what they are doing is they're building a technology that is harvesting cow dung and manure, which is obviously a free resource, through the farming of cows and that, and they are turning it into biogas. They're turning it into biomethane, and then they are running small generators in remote villages, which are then giving electricity to the villagers.
Fantastic.
Which means they don't have to run miles of natural gas piping. They're utilising something that that's environmentally friendly, which is going to rot down anyway or be used as fertilizer. But they're taking that and they're sort of putting it through like a fermentation process, which is releasing the biomethane from it, and that's what they're using to sort of create electricity.
Fantastic.
For remote units.
I can tell you, Joel, in 2018, I went with a former colleague of ours to a business meeting, to a business here in the UK, and it was 2018, like I said to you. They provide all of the eggs to all of the supermarkets here in the UK. Okay, this is a massive company, okay? And they had, so it's a chicken farm, but I want you to imagine this was industrial farming. They had 700,000 birds inside this place. They drop in excess of 550,000 eggs a day. And once that chicken has come to a certain age, that it is then sold, its meat is then sold because it's too big. The shells, which are broken or are not for human waste, are then crushed and sold for makeup. The eggs that are not used for human consumption, that's sold to another industry. But the waste from the chickens was being taken from this factory of 700,000 birds into a neighbouring storage unit, which had a £5 million machine, and that was turning all that chicken waste into electricity. They were making so much electricity, they were selling it back to UK PLC.
Yeah, and the crazy thing that came out of this story is not only have these farmers, and I look at stories like this and I just think, why aren't the UK doing more things like this? Especially with farming communities. The price of everything is way down for the British farmers and things like that. But there's it was quite funny because the farmers couldn't believe that there was like these entrepreneurial countrymen coming up to them and saying, I want to buy your cow dung. I want to buy your manure.
Yeah.
I will give you money for this waste product from your animal, and I can drive around the countryside around here and you see big piles of it by the side of the road and, and all this kind of thing. And you just think that's free energy.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just sat there, it's free energy, and again, it's a revenue, avenue of revenue that's opened up for these farmers. That's just a byproduct from the animals, so they're still potentially making money from the meat and milk if it's cattle, but like you said, with the chickens, there's waste product there. With sheep, there's waste product. So with whatever animals you're keeping on a large scale, there is some sort of waste product which will break down and will give off a methane gas that can then be, turned into electricity and stuff. And there's a few people out in India that are running it on a small scale, but there are some entrepreneurial people that are starting to ramp it up and run it on a larger scale as well. So it's just really, really interesting technology, and it's something that, again, we talk about solar, we talk about wind, but there are, I think the future in terms of energy is different, to start thinking of different
Gotta
places
think
to
of
get
different
it from.
ways, yeah.
And it just shows you human ingenuity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or even,
Rivers as well.
There I go as far as saying sort of human waste. Can we harvest biomethane and gas from that and stuff? So it's interesting. It's just like, it's a really interesting thing I think that
surely be radioactive.
shows us.
Well, two of us smiled. I don't know what DJ was thinking just then. Over to you, Faisal.
I found this one quite interesting. It's MIT researchers. They're working on a new concrete that can turn homes into giant batteries. Basically, it's a highly conductive substance known as carbon black, and they mix it with water and cement. And what it does is it actually can serve as a supercapacitor. And basically, what a supercapacitor is something that can charge and discharge really efficiently. but they're not designed for storing battery energy for long periods of time. You know how you got lithium battery, you can charge it up and it stays charged for a long time. Whereas this particular energy storage system, what it does is it actually stores energy for short periods of time. So you can imagine, you've got solar panels on a house. And again, there was another part of this research was also a transparent, flexible solar panel. So you can imagine your windows, they're solar panels. And basically your entire house could turn into a solar panel. And it doesn't look too different to how it does currently. So you know how you got ugly solar panels currently. But also there's, I saw another article somewhere else a little while ago where you've got roof tiles that look like slate tiles, but they're actually solar panels.
Tesla does that.
Yeah.
Tesla roof is that.
Yeah, so instead of having a Tesla battery, you're basically charging up your house's walls, the pavement outside, the street outside. And then the next level to this is, for example, electric cars could just park on the road and they could take the energy from the concrete using
So with this concrete, does it have to be fed the electricity through solar panels, or is it the concrete itself? It soaks in and creates electricity from the light itself.
Yeah. So basically, it's a substance called carbon black. They mix it in with water and concrete, and with that you create a block or brick or whatever. And that basically brick then conducts the electricity.
So it could be or you could be a basement of your not the base of your property as well. Yeah.
Basically, what they're thinking of doing is entire buildings will be constructed with this material, and same with pavements and streets. And everything.
Wow, we're here.
Potentially a whole city could be a massive battery.
Or Joel's farm.
But remember, it's not battery as in lithium battery.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
So it will charge and discharge very quickly. But the point is you're harnessing the energy. It's not going to waste.
Yeah.
But even on cold days, you can feel, the walls. If you've been in direct sunshine, you can feel the heat through the glass.
Exactly.
You can feel the side of your house get warm. The pavements during the summer get scorching hot. And again, that heat can be turned into energy. When you talk about stories like I've just talked about in terms of using a different energy source and what we've just heard there, you just sort of think, we're living in the Stone Age still. With the technology that's got the potential that's out there with the things that we can do, you just think, wow, we're still just living in the Stone Age, burning coal, burning oil. It's almost like sitting around a campfire kind of thing.
Yeah, and also what was mentioned in here is that the cars, they're not charged while they're stationary. So as you're driving, they're charging as well because they're getting that energy from the road.
That's like Tron level stuff happening, isn't it? Wow. Yeah. Sham, thank you for that.
Welcome.
Sham?
You must have heard about the plans for a mission to Mars. I think Elon Musk spoke about it as well from, with his company SpaceX, and they plan to, within the next 10 to 20 years, colonize Mars.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or at least start colonizing
Are you leaving
Mars.
us? Is that why you're wearing that top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look for somewhere cold, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a problem that's come up now. So there's a study being done with existing astronauts and people that have been into space for prolonged periods. And we're not talking anywhere near traveling the distance to get to Mars. We're talking just not from here to the moon or just to a space station or something like that. And they've found the after effects or the side effects of this is the shrinkage of kidneys. So people's kidneys are shrinking. So what they're saying, because of this, this next to 10 to 20 years of colonizing and getting to Mars, it's not possible. It's not possible at all. So what they're going to have to do is, and this is what they're saying as well, is they're going to have to find a way to combat this now on how they can stop the kidneys from shrinking. So when you've got a capability of doing one thing by one technology, it's like now affected something else within the biology of us, and then we have to now create a new technology to counteract that. That's insane, just thinking about this kind of stuff.
Wow. Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, there must be something that's causing that. So whatever that cause is, they'll come up with a solution. Maybe they'll have different diet while you're there. I don't know.
Well, things to do with gravity. I think that's what they were saying. Something to do with gravity and I don't know what else, but
okay,
could be dark matter.
Just got a few minutes to go. Joel.
So the other one that I found was a German startup called Black Semiconductor. They've just secured 454.4 million euro to develop a graphene-based chip. So this new product made from graphene is essentially going to change the silicon in semiconductors.
Okay.
And what they're hoping it's going to do is they're going to be able to develop this with the funding that they've secured, and they will push the boundaries again of what we understand silicon chips are capable of doing now, and they will push that further in the next 7 years or so to create faster and more efficient chip technology for devices and demands now that are going to be faced going forwards.
Because we need
a different kind of chip.
We need it, absolutely. I also saw over the week as well about a couple of new aeroplanes which have now taken flight, which are running on batteries. Electric aeroplanes are in the air.
I remember, I don't know if it was a few years ago now, graphene was supposed to be like the super material, wasn't it? Yeah, and there was loads of ideas and things. I think that this is part of that now. We're seeing some of that stuff come out now.
Yeah, the securing of the funding, absolutely. Yeah, so they can actually start to really sort of, there's a lot of money getting put behind it now. It's sort of gone from that developmental idea stage to actually, here's a bunch of money because we actually need it now kind of thing, yeah.
Because graphene's a man-made material, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, thanks for that, guys. We've just got a minute to go. Faisal, anything you got? Quick one?
I have got one, but I don't think it's a quick one.
We've got 30 seconds.
It's not enough time. This was basically Apple bringing ChatGPT to iPhones.
Oh, you should have done that. You're right.
I think we'll do this
next time.
Yeah, we'll actually go into this.
That can't be a quick one. Yeah.
Okay, but go ahead. So Apple have included ChatGPT. No, OpenAI into the devices.
OpenAI, yeah, well, it's known as ChatGPT into iPhones, and basically that's based on what they feel that's the best technology or best large language model for Siri. Yeah.
That explains why both shares have gone up already. Apple returned to being the world's most valuable company the following day after they launched their iOS 18 at the WWDC, and they had the Apple Intelligence. So they're now 3.3 trillion, which is staggering. Gentlemen, thank you for your company. Great topics as well. I hope you enjoyed them. We will catch you at the next Tech Factor. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Stay